Hi everyone, and welcome to the Shrine of Anubis. If you're new here, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back and nice to see you again. So, as the title of this video points out, for this video I'll be talking about signs from the other side. But before I get into the video itself, I want to give a special shout out to my Lord Anubis, because this past week, at some point, I don't even remember the exact date, was our 10th year anniversary of me being his devotee, not really working with him for spells or things like that, but simply being his devotee and loving him. He's been the owner of my heart for the past 10 years, although that's a complicated story because there is another spirit that has also owned my heart for almost 9 years in November. But a lot has happened in the past 10 years. And I didn't think that I would say, oh, it's our 10th year anniversary of me being the devotee of Anubis. Back then, I figured maybe it's a phase, but I don't think so. My love is too strong. It feels like it's indestructible. So I don't think it will be a phase. However, back then I wasn't thinking so far ahead into the future. So I never really focused on where would I be 10 years from then and whether I would still be his devotee or not. I was very much in the moment. As a 17-year-old girl growing up, learning about the world, suddenly chosen by the protector and guide of the dead. So I am super eternally grateful to Anubis for all that he has done for me, for helping me, for unmasking fake friends, for revealing them, for revealing hidden agendas, for revealing even deaths of people close to me, both that I have known and don't know, but are somehow close to my family or are even part of the family. There is so much I could say about Anubis and our connection and how much he has helped me for the past 10 years. And now I wonder, now I really will think far into the future. Where will I be with him 10 years from now? And it sounds so far ahead, but here I am 10 years later with him. Something that I didn't think would happen because I wasn't that focused on the really far future at that time. And little did I know that I was going to also become a card reader as well. But going back to the topic of this video, I feel that it overlays with the passing of my brother's dog, Toby, last Friday. Signs from the other side. And I know I got into detail on my last video about Toby's passing and how Anubis let me know 5 days before his passing, and how he let me see Toby one last time the day of his passing. But I want to share with you something that I forgot to share with you that day because I wasn't in the right mind space or mental space or however you call it to really talk about it. But that Sunday, before filming that video, I went downstairs to take out the trash, check the mail. It was a very rainy day. It was a very icky, disgusting day, very depressing. So long story short, I went downstairs. I live on a 3rd floor, so when I finished going down the stairs, the first thing I came across on the street right in front of me was a large black dog with his owner. And I almost dropped my umbrella and my trash bag because I was like, holy shit. That is a sign from Anubis. So during the week, I started to think about, and this sounds very dark and grim and depressing, but I am an overthinker. So I am always, doesn't matter what happens, I am always overthinking the situation. And so I was thinking, okay, with Toby's passing, I don't really feel like talking about other topics right now. I feel like I should process everything. And how can I process it? Well, by talking about death, which is a huge fear of mine, which is ironic because I've been working with him for the past 10 years. Very interesting, but I am a living contradiction. You should not be surprised. So when I received that sign from Anubis, it felt that he was letting me know that Toby was fine and that he was doing well and that he was doing exactly what he used to do right here on this planet. So during the week, I was thinking about what topics can I bring up to you guys that you find relevant. So I was thinking signs from the other side is something that many of us wonder about, especially when someone dies. So I wanted to share with you a couple of them. You might be able to relate, maybe not. Perhaps you know of someone who can. So when someone moves on from this physical world, usually some people who are sensitive to energy may perceive that someone is going to pass away. Sometimes they get a direct message of whom it is. Sometimes they only get an impression that someone is going to pass away, but they don't know who it could be. In my case, unfortunately, Anubis told me 5 days earlier that Toby was going to pass away. This wasn't a dream. It was very simple. I was in a library. I was holding a book open. I saw an illustration of Anubis on the right page of the book and a message that said he is going to pass away. I didn't believe Anubis. I was in denial about it. When I woke up, I was like, no, maybe this is just me being paranoid. This cannot be. Eventually, we were given the news on Thursday evening that Toby had to be put down. Then on Friday, Toby passed away naturally on the car of my brother 5 minutes before arriving to the vet to be put down. At the same time that he was passing away, I had already been, for the past 2 hours, working the altar with Anubis for a small, simple death ceremony to help with his transition, for it to be painless, quick, and for him to know that we were going to be fine. And to not be afraid to leave his body, to trust Anubis, and to follow him. So on Sunday, 2 days later of his passing, I go downstairs and I encounter a large black dog right in front of me. And so I took it as a sign from the other side, from Anubis, letting me know that Toby was fine. There are a bazillion ways, of course, of signs, possible ways for you to receive signs from loved ones who have moved on. In our case, it's when we have seen the most dogs everywhere. On social media, on television, in person, randomly in text messages that we get from other people that don't know what happened. We don't really tell people our business, our family. I'm not talking about strangers, but our extended family, because drama. So we keep a lot of things to ourselves because our extended family doesn't give a shit. So many of them don't know, but when they send good morning graphics and such, they may have like pets in it or something. So we have been seeing a lot of dogs everywhere recently. Um, and of course, eventually, I had a dream this past week with Toby where I was heading towards a gigantic tree in the middle of nowhere, but it had the ocean further away. And this tree had 13 floors or 9. And so I had to go to the third floor from this tree. It seemed to be like an apartment complex within a tree. It was very strange. But on the third floor, my family were all waiting for me to sit down in the living room to watch television. And so when I sit next to my brother, his dog Toby is on his right side. And so I see Toby and he looks at me like, hi. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're here. I was so excited to see him in the dream state, even though I knew that he wasn't here with us. But it was still a very pleasant surprise to see him once again as if nothing happened. And so I think that he is trying to let us know that he is not suffering, actually. A lot of us think on loved ones who have moved on and we wonder, are they still suffering? Or are they suffering for not being here, for leaving us, or for us suffering for them? Typically, they don't. It's been at least my experience with Toby that he is actually resting in peace. And I knew that right away on the day of his passing when I had the dream with Anubis. He seemed to be very chill and unaware of what was happening around him, but he wasn't actually uncomfortable about it in the dream. So, moving on to other types of signs that you may get from the other side, let's talk about human people. Typically, though, and this may include pets as well, a very popular way of them giving you signs is when you keep coming across dimes. My aunt is one who always finds dimes anywhere and everywhere. She doesn't know how that happens. She cannot explain it. She just finds dimes everywhere she goes. And she collects them actually because she needs the money, of course. But she eventually became aware that the dimes mean that typically, well, at least in my country, typically it means a message from the other side that she is not alone, that she has her loved ones from the other side watching over her. So the dimes is a very popular sign that a lot of people seem to get when it comes to their loved ones that have moved on to the other side. Another way of getting a physical sign is when you, or phantom sign, is when you smell flowers out of nowhere. Typically roses or lilacs, maybe lavender. But typically from what I have gathered from people that I have known, it's either roses or lilacs. In my case though, when it comes to scents, I have only been able to perceive rotten flowers, which is really strange, but that's how it presents itself to me, which is weird, but I mean, dead flowers dying. It kind of makes sense, you know. But I don't really get phantom scents or smells or dimes at all. Money fucking hates me. I get more direct signs, typically through dreams or astral projection, like how it happened to me on the day of Toby's passing. That was an astral projection. The dream warning from Monday, the week of his death, was actually more so just a dream, semi-lucid dream, because I was rather aware of what he was trying to get at, but in the dream I was in denial, so it was more of a lucid dream. Other ways that you can get signs from the other side is when you get a direct message from a random person that doesn't know your story or the loved one that moved on, and they may tell you something that reminds you of this person. Or they give you an advice or message or comment that a loved one would do with you when they were once alive. Speaking about phantom smells, now that I think of it, also smelling cigars out of nowhere or cigarettes, if the person enjoyed smoking, is also another way for them to let you know that they are around. Same with alcohol. If you randomly smell rum, beer, typically I smell beer randomly. It usually comes out of nowhere, and it reminds me of my father, whom I didn't have that connection to since I exist, basically. But he would drink a lot of beer. He was a huge fan of Budweiser when he was alive, and he passed away from cancer again in 2012, July of 2012. I mean, seriously, guys, fuck cancer. It's been so present in my family's life that it's, at this point, it's fucking annoying. So I would sometimes smell randomly beer out of nowhere. He wasn't into smoking, so I would never really perceive cigarettes, cigars, or anything like that. Something else that I wanted to bring up to you is random winds in your home. This happened to my mother earlier this week while she was doing something in the bathroom. I think she was rearranging some things from like a rack that she has with bottles and things like that. And so at some point she looked to her side to the shower and she saw the shower curtain, like woo, like gentle breeze like blowing into it. It only happened once when it kind of like blew, and she actually ran away from the bathroom because she was scared as hell of what she saw. And the air conditioner wasn't on. There wasn't a fan on in the bathroom. It just happened. And so she was really frightened when she told me about it. And I told her, it's nothing harmful. It's nothing threatening or anything. So you shouldn't feel frightened about it because it's actually a good energy. And so that is also one way that they can show themselves to you or give you a sign that they are around. They may sometimes have the energy to attempt to manipulate physical objects from the other side. Typically, not so solid objects, but things that can be easily moved around, like curtains and things like that. In this case, the shower curtain was a part of it. Typically, Spirits need to spend a lot of energy in order to manifest themselves fully, to show themselves to a person. This is typically why many people, and take a shot every time I say typically. I am annoying myself right now. But usually, this is why spirits rarely present themselves in full body form, how they used to be in real life, unless you are a medium, clairvoyant, or some type of visionary, because this requires a lot of energy for them in order to come through. So usually they decide to present themselves as orbs. But orbs in pictures or videos are very tricky because sometimes you may just have a very dusty living room. And I have to bring this up because I have seen a lot of dusty ass places online when people try to show orbs in their pictures or videos. And usually when there is a buttload of orbs flying around, it's because there is dust in the air of this room or place. So it's very important that you are critical of the information that you get, that you capture, or that other people share with you, because it's not always something paranormal. I laugh because I think back on those hoodoo groups that I am in, and I was just thinking about when a candle wax burns weird and people just ask, what does this mean? And sometimes it doesn't really mean anything. For example, a candle's glass exploding, but it wasn't actually something paranormal. It simply was that the wick was too close to the glass. So this is why I suggest that you be critical of the information that you get from other people or that you capture, because it may have a more mundane and boring meaning. So other ways that people from the other side can give you signs can be physical attacks. And this may be from a spirit of a loved one who was not a very loving person in this lifetime. And this person is probably someone that is unable to rest in peace due to their behavior and attitude in this lifetime, so they are unable to go into the light and rest in peace. So one time I was sitting on my desk and my chair was pushed forward. This was 9 years ago. So 9 or 8 years ago. I had a different desk and it was much smaller, compact, but my right foot was pinned under a table from this desk. Sometimes computer desks have this top table and then a table down below where you can put the tower of the computer or something. So my foot was under that table. So my chair was pushed forward and then turned to the side for me to twist my ankle underneath that table from that desk that I used to have. And so I screamed. I tried to push myself back. At first, I could feel a pressure behind me, like trying to keep me there. And I could feel the edge of the table from underneath me pressing against my ankle. And it actually left me a scar that lasted for a couple of months. When I break free and push myself backwards, I break free from it. I had a reading later on from a shaman friend that I used to have. She did not know what happened to me. I simply approached her for a reading. And she told me that I had a portal open in that apartment that she had to close. And this was all free of charge, by the way, because I know that it can be, oh, scammer. But no, this was actually all done for free. And the plot twist of this is that we used to live in front of a cemetery. The cemetery was right across the street. There was a very narrow road that divided our apartment from the cemetery. So there was a lot of activity from the spirits in that apartment. When she closed that portal, she told me, watch for a sign. Something in your home will break. And so I waited, and after 4 to 5 days later, a beloved dragon statue that I had somehow fell from a table where I had it on, and it smashed into a billion pieces. I literally am not kidding. It was so bizarre how this statue just broke in so many pieces when the height wasn't even that large, that I knew that was the sign that she told me to look out for. It was one final attempt to attack me, but my dragon statue, the energy behind that statue, got on the way to shield me and defend me. And there is a lot of ways where spirits can give you signs from the other side. Some of these people in your family were once good, but also you have ancestors that were very, very evil. Perhaps not your great grandpa or triple great grandpa, but your 10th great grandfather perhaps was a colonizer or something and would rape people. You just never really know who your ancestors were. You can only go so far back until you hit a roadblock and are unable to continue to find more information about far past ancestors. And so you have to be prepared to shield yourself and not work with absolutely all of them in your practice, because not all of them were good. And I know this video is all over the place, but I feel that everything kind of connects and correlates or something. I can always make a second part to this video if you want me to, so let me know down below in the comment section. But I wanted to share a couple of things with you today for this video. But at the same time, let you know that if you're not getting any of these signs and you're getting different ones that I didn't address in this video, they are all equally valid. Remember, the spirits will always find a way to communicate with you and to send you signs of their presence in a way that works for you. So I guess that summarizes this whole video. So don't feel frustrated if you don't find dimes, if you can't see their spirit while you're awake, if you can't dream of them, if they're not showing up in your dream state, if you can't smell random beer or cigars or anything. It doesn't matter. Tune in to yourself. What signs are you getting? Don't pay attention to what other people share, how they receive signs and messages, blah, 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 because not every ancestor or spirit guide or what have you works the same way. They are not cookies that we just bake using the same molds, okay? So that sounded weird. I guess what I'm trying to say is they're not all cut with the same scissor. So if you're getting different signs, different messages in different ways, shapes, or forms, or not even directly from them, but through a medium, not necessarily a psychic medium, but a medium as in a spirit that relies messages from other spirits, or gods that rely messages from other spirits, which are part of you. It's all acceptable, and you shouldn't really be concerned about getting signs in a different way or not getting signs at all. My mother is always asking about getting signs from the other side. When she gets them, she freaks the fuck out. So there may be a variety of reasons as to why you may not even receive signs from the other side. Perhaps because you're not prepared yet, or it's not the time yet, or the spirit needs more time before they start to communicate with you or sending you signs. So that's it for this video. I hope that I was able to share with you relevant information. Let me know down below in the comment section, boomer moment. Let me know if you get signs from the other side. How do they communicate with you? How do they send you signs? Are they similar to the ones that I share with you today, or are they vastly different? In my case, sometimes I may get signs through songs, but that is very, very rare. Usually my mother is the one who gets signs through songs that my father used to love. They would randomly play them in the Hispanic supermarket. So he would send her signs through music. So are your signs different from the ones I share with you in this video, or are they similar to the ones that I share with you in this video? Or do you not get any signs at all? If you don't get signs at all, would you like to, or do you feel that you wouldn't be prepared to receive a sign from the other side? Let me know down below in the comments section. I would love to know what you think and what you have to say and share, if you feel like sharing, of course. So that is it for this video. I wanted to thank you all so much for watching, for your love, for your support, for being here with me, and for enjoying my content, even if it's sometimes all over the place. So before I let you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click on the bell button, and click on see all so that you get all the notifications of any future uploads that I'll be making on this channel. So take care, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye!